Hello, this is Robbie Ergang, and we're going to be looking over Touch Math and Touch Money. Now, this kind of seems a little weird or a little silly because it's a virtual presentation and we're not actually touching the math or touching the money. But it's actually a concept that is really interactive and can help students of all abilities learn. So Touch Math is a concept that's really developed upon interacting with students to allow them to see the materials and use them to solve problems and to balance those equations. That you'll see later what it looks like, but I wanted to just let you realize that Touch Math is what it sounds like. It is interacting with the math problems. The students are going to use all sorts of types of their senses. They're going to use hearing, seeing, speaking, and physical touch. Touch Money is actually really similar to it, where we actually put money into the hands of the students. Not real money, of course, but we put money into the hands of the students to allow them to see what the bills look like and how they can interact with the money. Not thinking that 2 quarters is more than $1 is a very simple thing that some students find very difficult because there are 2 items of quarters and there's only $1 bill, and that seems like less. What we see here, there's an example of 6 apples represented by the number 6. So Touch Math also has the opportunity to do some other things that I really find interesting. Touch Math takes items and puts them into the written form that we look at. So 6 apples would be transferred from being off screen or on the side, and instead of counting them individually, we can represent them by a numerical written number 6. And I'm going to show you all that right here at the bottom. It's one of the documents that I've attached. So these right here represent 2. And obviously we have to discuss that with our students, but these represent 2. Whereas these others just represent 1. For 1, 2, and 3, we see that there's only that number of dots on the page. Whereas on 6, there's 3 dots that represent 2. Students can understand multiplication this way, as well as addition, and really the overall concept is that they're understanding that 6 items can be represented by just a pencil mark, really, to create the number 6. I kind of scroll up here. The best place to practice this, I think, is at school with the teacher's instruction. There are websites that I'm going to show you. There's touchmath.com. It's a great resource, but I also use MobyMax for Touch Money. MobyMax is a website that I've seen used at Model, and it's incredible how it gets used. The students really grab the coins, using their finger or the mouse, and they move them to create the sum of what you should pay, or the difference of what change you should get back. Touch Math is also going to allow students the opportunity to relate the number of items to what the number actually looks like. So they can, instead of having a basket full of items, they can relate them. And what we're going to talk about now is the procedure. So when we introduce the strategy, step 1, we are allowing the students to see what they're going to be using to solve the problems. They're going to use these worksheets and how they're going to use them. So when we demonstrate examples of how students can use them, I'm going to scroll down here to our example again. The student will touch each dot every time they say they count. So they would say 1, 2, and they would trace it. 2, 1, 2, 3, and they would trace it. 3. Now they are saying these aloud. The reason that they're going to say them aloud is because the students are going to influence their learning by giving auditory as well as hands-on touching, like we were talking about, and they also see what they're looking at. So following the demonstration, we're going to allow the students to practice them with guidance. So the teacher will walk around and, encourage them to do it a certain way, encourage talking and encourage tracing. And finally, we're going to let the students use these worksheets freely, use MobyMax or the money freely, and just see how they get changed and how to pay for things. If a difficulty arises, then the teacher will respond appropriately, but they need to let the students practice on their own. Now, some of the modifications that we can look at for this, obviously, if a student has difficulties using their fine motor skills, they won't be able to grab some of the money or hold counters or things like that we can use to place on them, on the numbers. So what we'll actually do is with apps and iPads, we can just touch the item and go from there. They can touch and trace on an iPad where they don't necessarily need to write with a pencil or be very specific. Also, for students that have visual impairments, we're going to use the opportunity to enlarge the worksheets, get bigger numbers, bring them closer to the page to allow them to understand that 3 can be represented with the 3 dots and can also go to influence that. So I'm going to take you to Touch Math really quick here. Let's see if I can show you Touch Math. This is kind of what the website looks like. And what I have pulled up here is the special ed and remedial products. This is touchmath.com. And we have all sorts. It goes to pre-K, which is off the screen over here. Let me see if I can fix that for you. But we have touchmath.com here. And this is great because while we have your normal products for students of really all ages, we also have special ed products, remedial products, money. We have a complete money kit, and these programs that are all set up for teachers to use, as well as technology with apps. There's a free app, and there's also a $3.99 app. So if you want to allow your students to get involved with that or work at home, I would suggest this mobile math app. That is all that I have for you all, and some resources here. This is that Touch Math that we were talking about earlier, and that's the website we went to. But I just wanted to give you all that information about Touch Math and Touch